it's Michael McGarrahan.
Yo, it's Brendan Mascherino.
Yo, it's Cameron Yankee with no Brim Crawford.
Yo, it's Mason Coburn. What's up?
Hey.
Oh, so we got a great episode today to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Talking about 1995's Heat. Y'all want to talk about piracy? Movie piracy?
Yeah.
I'm down to discuss that. And anyone got a story to start us off with?
Hmm.
Moo, I have a feeling you have a story, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't have a story, but I got an update on something new I've been doing.
Oh, sure.
So lately, I was talking with some of the boys that I've been playing Minecraft with, and we actually moved on to a different game. So the homie was like, bro, I'm back on Club Penguin. And I'm like, hold up. Turns out they brought back Club Penguin last month. And not only that, but memberships are free to everyone now. And dude, the card jitsu is so fun, to say the least. Holy shit, I've been gaming on that card jitsu all day. Too much fun. Highly recommend getting back on. Way too much fun to go in the game chat and start going. They also added, get this, they added adult servers where you can use any profanity.
What?
That's insane.
Wow, they're really pulling to get people back in that game. Like,
have you been in that?
Ain't that shit crazy? Oh, the adult server's too much fun.
Also, sorry, wait. Just something to add real quick. 21 years ago, they dropped the first preview clip of SpongeBob ever.
Whoa! Oh, I saw that on I follow this few pages actually on Facebook. One of them's called like Every Frame of SpongeBob, and they post just random.
I know that. Yeah,
and I love it so much because it's so perfect, and people get so emotional over just random frames. And there's another page called SpongeBob Memes, and I think I saw that on there. Croft.
I saw it on Twitter. I was like, damn.
I'm looking it up right now if they have it on YouTube or something. Is it this maybe? I can put it on. Wait.
Copyright!
Yeah, exactly.
Get that shit out of here.
Coming in July?
No. It's not that percent.
Oh, right, whatever.
I'll send it to you later.
All right. That's awesome.
Dude, SpongeBob's first 4 seasons.
Wait,
oh, yeah, with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With the Kids' Choice Awards, Cam?
I'm just going to send it right now.
Supposedly they filmed some of that new SpongeBob movie in Savannah.
Yo.
I don't know. I think supposedly there's like a part with Patchy the Pirate in it, but it's like, I think it may have been the last one. I haven't seen the last one, Sponge Out of Water or whatever.
Oh, Sponge Out of Water is underrated.
But it's like Patchy the Pirate's driving his ship down like the streets of just some random town, and it's Savannah. And when I went to visit our hotel, like one of the people that sat at the front desk at the hotel. What is that?
Sorry, it's my phone.
Well, some lady that sat at the front desk of our hotel said she was hired as an extra to just walk down the sidewalk, and she was paid like $90 to be there for like 2 hours.
That's
not bad.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's pretty nice.
SpongeBob. Oh, what move?
Oh, no. I was going to say Sponge Out of Water, straight banger.
SpongeBob promo straight sounding like the Lighthouse trailer.
Shit.
Who would have thought that SpongeBob would be making fun of the light? Not making fun, anyway.
Speaking of the Lighthouse, I was thinking one episode we gotta talk about like some of the best trailers, because that's a low key underrated segment of movies. Oh fuck!
You ever have one of these puppies?
Because also like that's
So
something
good.
I think it'd be kind of cool because people can easily watch those
Yeah.
right away. It's like something that they can relate to like right away. You don't just like if they can't
Like,
watch
trailer editing is a huge deal.
Yeah, that's
Talk
really
about
hard to
give an
do.
example of a perfect trailer. 10.
Perfect trailer. I mean the Wolf of Wall Street's first trailer, unbelievable, where they play Kanye's Black Skinhead on it. That shit was so crazy and so hype. I'm like, I gotta see this movie. Also, last year, the Uncut Gems trailer.
Oh yeah.
Every
That
time,
was so
every
hype.
time
That was
we
so hype.
Dude,
Oh
that
my
was-
god.
I'm trying to think.
Incredible trailer.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse trailer, of course, was great last year.
oh
Dude,
man,
the new Wes Anderson
Oh,
trailer.
come on, 1917.
Oh yeah, 1917 had a good
That's
trailer.
too, actually.
A24 in general has a lot of good trailers. I mean, not 1917 because that's not A24, but in general,
Yeah,
A24 has some good trailers, like Lighthouse, Midsummer. Like all their trailers are very exciting.
Yeah.
Moonlight had a great trailer. Go back and watch the Moonlight trailer.
I
That
don't
shit's
think I've seen that.
fantastic.
Gotta love Midsummer's white anamorphic crop.
Oh yeah.
Remember we thought that was going to be like the full movie?
Yeah, I was scared, bro. I'm like, please don't tell me that's how the movie's gonna be.
we have an update on the auctions too. The dress is up for like $30,000.
Oh shit.
That's actually not as much as I thought it was going to be, but that's still a shit ton.
That
Yeah.
was a few days ago. Wait, let's see.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, still 30,000 because let's be honest. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's intense.
That's crazy to think like someone's buying that thing.
yeah.
Unless they flake out. It's like, well no, still someone's buying that for like up in the freaking tens of thousands of dollars. Like that. It's just
Telling
Bro,
you, Oprah's just going to come in and be like, yo, here's $1 million.
Oh, you already know for the Uncut Gem stuff, Kevin Garnett gonna be in that auction trying to get that
Dude.
shit.
Jersey.
It's like I need that.
I need that.
I need that.
You spoke to me. I need that.
Oh man. Let's transition into some pirates. So, the other day someone was telling me that they were pirating movies. Said, you know what? That's a common thing that many people do, and I don't hold it against anyone, but I hate movie piracy. I'll let y'all talk first before I go sicko mode.
You need diplo mode.
I don't really know. I mean, I guess there's multiple types of pirating. Like, there's people that go into a movie theater and film like the movie on like their iPhone 4.
Oh yeah, anyone that watches the iPhone recordings, that's too far,
And
man.
then they took it to 1, 2, 3 movies, and that's how I watched Finding Dory.
I,
Not even kidding. And then I guess there's people who burn movies onto like
Oh yeah.
these.
Yeah, there's like the torrenting websites where you can download the stuff. Then there's the
Yeah.
streaming ones where you can stream it, and people will usually, once the Blu-ray comes out, do the 1080p Blu-ray rip. I'm like, bruh, it looks so bad.
Yeah, I remember watching. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Mason.
go.
I remember watching Finding Dory, and then it's like in the middle of the movie, some guy just like stands up in front of the camera. I'm like, who's that? It's just like their silhouette. I'm like, bro, chill. Walks out with popcorn in his hand.
But like, yeah, going along with that, like, I feel like at some point you're doing both the movie and yourself a disservice, especially in situations like that. And like, okay, every once in a while, I can, if you're in general supporting, the industry, going to the movies every so often, like every once in a while you can't access something, sure, you go on 1, 2, 3 movies, whatever. But I think in general, it should be avoided. And if you're watching it like through a recording, like, come on, you're just not getting the experience that was intended, and you're just wasting your time. So that's what I think.
Yeah, so one of my things is that there's so many ways that you can there's so many deterrents. So I get it. If you can't afford to like rent a movie and all that, I get it. You can throw it on but like most people that are streaming still have a Netflix and they still have an Amazon Prime. And I'm like, this movie that you're watching is not so important to watch that you can't just pick a great movie on Netflix otherwise or Amazon Prime. Also, for people that torrent like A24 movies or Neon movies and all that, like A24 has a little note. I'm not too worried about the fact that they're pirating that movie. The thing I'm worried about is the fact that if you do some research, you'd know that Amazon Prime and A24 have a deal. So if you just wait for like 6 months or 4 months, you could just see the movie on Amazon Prime in HD quality. And everyone's like, 1080 is the same thing. No, it's not. The compression is there. You can see the macro blocking in the damn sky. Don't think I don't see that shit. And the audio, oh god, forget about it.
Forget about
You don't have good if you don't have like half decent sound, like coming
Just
from a
ruins
big
the
movie, it's
experience.
over.
Like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, the audio. Like, if you watch Uncut Gems pirated and all those people are talking over each other in compressed potato audio, that shit's unbearable.
I think I had to pirate I think it was a movie that I was reading the book for English class, and I wanted to see what the movie was like too, and I couldn't find it anywhere besides like some sketchy ass, like, I think it's called, like, I don't know if it's even sketchy, Crackle or something.
Oh, Crackle's not sketchy. Crackle is full legal.
Seemed like it was not legal anyways. It just seemed like very like low quality, like their website.
Yeah, Crackle's good.
And it was free, so I was just like, oh, sick. So I don't know if that's considered pirating, but
No, that's not pirating. That Crackle's a legit service. Also, if anyone's pirating The Host or The Hunt or any of those Bong Joon-ho movies or any of these movies that are freely streaming on Tubi, I don't get it. That's, you just go on your phone and download Tubi and it's there with just ads.
Yeah.
One of the things, like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, what's the difference between pirating a movie and stealing, other than the fact, like, stealing from a Best Buy, when the only difference is the fact that one is easier to get caught and the other isn't? Like,
Yeah.
it's still the same moral dilemma.
Yeah.
But, you know, all I'm saying is there's so many things put in place that are deterring people from pirating movies, yet they're settling for lower quality stuff. Even Blu-ray prices, after some time, they're pretty cheap. You can cop a movie, like, as I said, Wolf of Wall Street for $4 on Blu-ray. I mean, like, there's steals happening nonstop, and rentals aren't, like, some streaming rentals are kind of bogus, but many people live near a library, and library rentals are like $1.50 for a Blu-ray rental. 2 on Tuesdays in Chester County area. Utilize that shit. That shit's mega.
I feel like maybe like someone could argue and be like, oh, they found out like a movie they're really looking forward to is like leaked, and like, oh, I gotta watch it. It's like, no, if you like it, and if you are that excited about it, you are gonna wait. You're gonna sit and you're gonna wait until that thing's released. You're gonna pay freaking money for it. So it's like, I'm like, no, I will never accept that as an argument if someone to say that. Like, I just couldn't wait. It's like, no, you actually can.
All right, so here's an ethical question. So, Lou, you're like very strongly against pirating. What about a situation like Boss Baby?
Well, I mean, even if the movie's not good, I still think that, I mean, Boss Baby is one that came to Netflix for some time. I still think it's not worth disrespecting all the animators and people that put in the work in that movie to see it in a lower quality. Sure, the movie's not good, but it's much better to watch a bad movie with watchable quality and good sound than watch a bad movie in unbearable quality and unbearable sound. 'Cause that's just a double death combo right there, man.
How about okay, so our friend Bonsai,
Oh god,
this story about how he and his brothers watched the full Boss Baby on the hub. How do you feel about it?
oh my god,
That's classic.
man, I'm dead. Nice.
One of the things that I actually do think that is sort of like making people pirate movies is there's some movies, like, recently I saw Memories of Murder was just taken down from like all streaming services and stuff.
No.
So there's a movie like I don't know, The Killer by John Woo, all right? That's a movie I'm dying to see. There's no US Blu-ray of it. There's no HD streams of it. You can't rent it on Amazon. You can't rent it on Vudu. It's unavailable for streaming rental. At that point, the distributor is telling me to pirate this movie. Like, if you're not going to give me options to watch it in HD, then what am I going to do? I mean, I'm going to still wait to see if a Blu-ray comes out in the next year or two, or if it comes back to streaming, but if you're basically begging me at that point to pirate this film.
True.
Yeah.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, as they said.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to spend like $12 on buying a Blu-ray for a movie I haven't even seen.
Yeah.
Boo, I wanted to ask, like, just for some Blu-ray now, just saying there hasn't been a US Blu-ray. Does that mean like you can't? It's not shipping from the US anywhere? It's
Nah,
like,
you can ship maybe some region lock, but like oh man, I can get in like hours of these Blu-ray discussions, but different countries have different Blu-ray distributors, and for some reason the US, whoever distributes this movie in the US has yet to make a Blu-ray, and there are many things with region locks, like there's some region B lock movies that only work on European Blu-ray players, or like a $200 region free player, and I'm not trying to spend $200 to buy one movie. But yeah, so sometimes y'all are asking for it, but if you know the stuff, if you want to watch independent cinema from A24, then wait for the Amazon Prime. If you want to watch stuff from Neon, realize that it's going to come out on Hulu if you have Hulu, and if not, then, and you have the money to pay for Hulu, then pay for Hulu. If you don't have the money to pay for Hulu, you can do a free trial once that movie comes on Hulu.
That discount for college students.
Facts.
wow.
Oh, really? Is it just on Hulu, or is it for like all streaming platforms?
So basically, the way it works is, I think it's like, I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's a duo like Spotify, Hulu deal. Where you get Spotify for half price, and then Hulu is included free.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a tough deal.
You
Also, if you have Hulu, Croft, you better watch The Beach Bum. That shit's too funny.
Wow.
You know what I found out recently? That you know how on our Google, I'm sure you've all had this issue, but you get like 15 gigs free on like your Google Drive, and then you have to pay to upgrade it. Well, I found out, Michael and I did, it's only $199 a month to upgrade to 100 gigs in your Google account.
So your college is probably going to
Yeah.
get free storage.
Oh, really? Free
Even our school.
School's unlimited, yeah.
Even our
school's unlimited. But I'm saying like your school account, since ours at high school is gonna get shut down, so I just threw like $199 for like the M&M account, and then we just dump all of our stuff into that. It's helpful.
You guys use Microsoft Word or Google Drive for essay type stuff?
Drive.
Yeah,
Google Docs.
Or Docs, yeah.
Docs?
Although I kind of like Microsoft Word and the amount of I guess the amount that you can edit the paper, because I feel like a lot of things you can't do on Drive or on Word. Like,
yeah, I like how you can insert a text box and
text boxing.
But you can't do it on Docs. So I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, oh, come on, mate.
Oh, Mike.
Come on, cuz.
Oh, Mike.
Come on.
Trip out the Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. Is there another topic y'all want to discuss before we hop into the movie?
Well, yeah. Are we talking about this AMC Universal thing?
Oh, facts! Damn, you're right.
I didn't hear about that.
Oh my. Let me put it this way.
Can you send us an article, Moo?
Yeah, trolls might have single-handedly shook up the movie.
Okay, first of all, that article made it seem like it was trolls that did it. It's more complicated than the headline.
Yeah. Okay. The headline, you got to read the articles, because there's many more. It's not like AMC saying we're never showing a Universal movie. There's many more complications. Like, do you want to run it down, Mason, or should I? I think you got this.
Yeah, sure. I'll as I understand it, I'll lay it out. So, but interject if it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so when was Trolls supposed to be released? Like sometime around.
Trolls was supposed to be released the day they released it on the video on demand.
So like, what was that though?
It was like April,
Okay,
like
so
mid-April.
while the pandemic was in effect. So it was supposed to be, sent to theaters, but, since they'd done their marketing, their advertising, whatever, they, put it out on streaming. And then the CEO or some head guy at Universal was talking about, how
Yeah.
he was saying, oh, it's doing great, and the initial release was very profitable, and we would consider doing like double releases, like theaters
Mhm.
and streaming at the same time in the future, even after the pandemic has subsided. So then AMC was like, well, we don't like the sound of that, because that would, if people have the option to watch it at the same time on streaming,
Mhm.
that would deprive them of probably a lot of theater ticket sales. So they said, okay, well, since this, seems to be in violation of our, exhibition agreement with Universal, we are going to not show Universal films in AMC theaters. So, and then Trolls was like, the initiating point, but it wasn't really about Trolls, the movie.
Yeah. So
Wow.
the whole Trolls part, like all the other distributors, they were like, all right, we're gonna postpone our movie just so they can have a theatrical release, because it's important for those big movies to have theatrical releases, especially after this virus, so that those movies can still release in theaters and make both theaters and the distributors money. But Universal is the one distribution company that's like, screw that, we're gonna drop Trolls on video on demand release, because that movie was expected to underperform anyway. So Universal, like, you know what, let's just capitalize on this. And the theater owners got a bit pissed there. They're like, what the fuck? And then after the Universal CEO made those comments about thinking of releasing simultaneously, then they're like, if you don't give us that theatrical window, you're done, Universal.
But weren't there some other movies that had gone straight to streaming from other studios?
So the other studios, what happened was, it was like when they released, so like Onward, Invisible Man, all those, they went to VOD because they already had their marketing and release in theaters. Like, even if it was just a day, it was like they tried releasing it in theaters, but the virus literally made them have no other choice than to VOD for those movies, because that would be a huge loss on those movies. But Trolls didn't even give a theatrical like chance. They just like, screw it, we're going straight to VOD on this one.
And was that the only one? Because I thought there were a few others that hadn't actually started their theatrical.
No, I think Trolls was the only like big one, and the only other quote unquote big movie that's planning on doing this is, they might be doing the same shit with that movie Scoob.
Oh yes.
What the heck is that?
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Yeah, the new Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh man.
But
what
the
do we
implications are crazy of what this means.
Damn, cool.
Crazy.
No, go. Okay.
Oh no. I was just gonna ask, like, what do you mean, like the implications? Like, what could happen?
Well, so what could happen is that if Universal is very stubborn about this, they could potentially have movies like Jurassic World and Fast and Furious 9 not showing in theaters. And those are like billion-dollar movies. So that'd be a huge hit for Universal, because who trying to watch Fast and the Furious at their house? Let's be real.
Yeah.
And then that could be a huge hit for the theaters, because those are like billion-dollar money machines. And that's just bad for both sides.
Yeah,
Wow.
the way they're going about it, like having the public commentary, it just seems really childish to me. Like how it's going back and forth. Like, deal with this, get a mediator in here between the two parties, like not out in the open air. Like it just seems.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just not good for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Like, these are CEOs of multi-billion-dollar industries, and they acting like it's a kid's game on the park.
Yeah, and oh man, dude, I don't know. But who do we think is in the right here? Is anyone in the right? Are they both in the wrong? Like, what do we?
Oh, I definitely. So, while I think it might be a bit crazy to, like, if AMC and Regal were to go through with boycotting, considering how big of a hit they're taking through the virus, I think that's crazy. But at the same time, My bad. At the same time, I think they're in the right in the sense that if Universal succeeds with these video on demand simultaneous releases, then other distributors would follow suit. And then if the whole market would be like VOD and theatrical simultaneous releases, then so many people are going to transition to VOD, which would start bringing down the movie industry on a whole. And I don't want to see that, like theater industry.
Yeah, theaters would have to like downscale, I'd imagine, like massive.
Yeah. And I feel like that would significantly hit the chances of like smaller movies getting theatrical releases, because if they can't afford to play smaller movies, as they don't make the theaters that much money, so then all we get to go to the theaters to see are like fucking Avengers Endgame, and no way in hell that was the best experience I had in the theater last year. The best experiences were like Parasite and Lighthouse, and I'm not trying to lose that.
Well, I see where AMC is coming from. Like, I think the principle is right, but like the way
they're handling it's crazy.
It's not the way to go. It's just, I don't know. It's such a, black and white decisive
really crazy
act that doesn't. It's a much more complicated thing. Oh, I like the background. That's very cool.
Oh man, those two fuckers single-handedly trying to bring down the theater industry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So what do you boys think about this?
I agree. I think it's like what Mason's saying, the whole, like when you said, remember when you first said AMC wouldn't play any Universal, I'm like, what the heck? Like, why is it so broad? Like, why is it like, now I get like maybe like going by like a case by case basis and be like, okay, like, this is not right that you would do this. Let's move on. But just it was planted out. But to just be like, no more your stuff. Like, it seems way too like revolty. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that's not a real word, but like, it just
That said, I think that Regal's way of handling the situation is actually a bit more destructive than AMC's, because Regal said that they just will not show a Universal movie that refuses to abide by the theatrical window. Whereas AMC's like, if Universal thinks of doing these VOD simultaneous releases, then we're just boycotting Universal movies.
Yeah.
And the reason I think the Regal way of thinking, if you guys disagree, please chip in. But the Regal way of thinking, it's like Universal could easily abuse that policy and be like, their movies, like the Blumhouse movies, they'll be like, we'll put those on demand and make a shit ton there. And then we'll just put like Jurassic World and Fast and Furious 9 in theaters. And like they'll probably pick and choose, and that could completely destroy Regal's business.
I guess I would say maybe not completely destroy Regal's business though, because if you think about it, like if they're only putting the movies they know that are going to get big bucks in the theaters, then it's I guess it's better than nothing. If something like Jurassic World couldn't even be in the theater, I guess that's how I see it. But like neither of them are good in my opinion. But I feel like at least having some of the big movies in there.
On the other hand, AMC's policy would deter people from doing this, though.
Exactly.
Wouldn't. It would be like, okay, we're only having the big movies. But if people take AMC's stance, it's like, okay, this isn't going to be a policy.
Yeah. Regal's gives Universal enough incentive to go forward on VODing some movies, whereas AMC's like, all right, that's a big threat for Universal to potentially just ban their movies. So we might just say, see you to VOD releases.
Yeah, actually, when you put it that way, I think that's better than just being able to just completely, not getting the flexibility. You don't want that crap.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a childish fight. Just go to how things were. Stop thinking VOD's the new wave, and let us have some movies in theaters.
Facts.
Yeah. Also, like, I feel like it's more of a like. I feel like I could easily treat this as being like a one-time thing. Like I get like you wanted your movie to come out and no one knew this was gonna happen. It's like obviously like you don't want to like just go VOD for the future. Like like people wouldn't want to do that. Like I can see maybe it was like an impulsive thing from the like their distributors. But like I don't know. So that's I can see why maybe they'd want to just be like only VOD. But yeah, it definitely is a childish kind of thing to be going crazy about. Anyway. Oh. Move.
Moo, are you there?
Oh,
This one.
yeah. So
I think it's getting hot in here.
Yeah.
I feel this like.
This-
oh, it's this burning sensation.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, I think it's time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to the year 1995. Michael Mann brings actors Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, arguably two of the greatest actors, if not the greatest actors at the time. And they're like, you know what? These two have never been in the same frame together or the same scene together. So let's bring them together in this movie Heat. And before I speak, I want to hear what you guys thought, and then we'll go. So we'll go each one by one, and then we'll broadly discuss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would anyone
Who's-
like to
who's
start?
at the top of the screen, Michael?
What?
Who's at the top?
Oh, I mean, if you want, you can go. You're on the top left.
Okay. Just some like initial things that I like took notes on when I was watching it. I really, really liked how tight the framing was for like the whole entire movie, and you never really break out of like that 50 mil look the whole
Mhm.
time. I really liked the look of the film. I think it was the 35 millimeter film. And one of my favorite quotes was, "She got a great ass, and you're all the way up it."
Oh yeah.
She got a great ass.
Yeah, and I thought the pacing was very well done. I think it was like moderate. It wasn't too fast and it wasn't too slow. I think it was like just in the middle. I think it moved right along. Even though it was a 3-hour movie, it didn't really feel like that to me. And yeah, I thought the sound was very well done, by the way, especially in the beginning. The tracking shot throughout the hospital or whatever. I loved the sound there and how it looked so much. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
Dude, I feel like my body's gonna like explode with this movie. Like I that's literally how I feel after watching. Like I was just like I had to text you guys and be like, "Frick!" Like because I had to like say something about it. Like, but I think it was, the cinematography was so good. I was inspired by so much of the lighting going on, like the camera movements. I love the dialogue too so much. Like really gripping scenes between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro's character, especially like just all that stuff so good. And I was literally talking out loud during this movie, especially I don't want to spoil anything during the like. Oh, well, of course we're gonna spoil. Literally,
Yes, full spoilers.
last scene, I was literally saying, "Come on, man! Oh, come on!" Like I'm in my basement watching. I was literally saying it out loud. Like the movie was like pulling these words like out of my chest. Holy dude,
Yeah.
it's literally. This is like, I think it's literally like the best movie I've seen. Like literally all like this whole month, all like in the past like 2 months or so. Like I'm not even kidding. Like I love
Beautiful.
every single scene. Like dude, so good, so good. I can't believe I haven't seen this before. Like, but
Yeah.
so good.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, it's good.
Croft Mason.
Who's next in line?
Mason, you can go.
All right, so I gotta say, I totally agree with cinematography, sound, love it. Pacino and De Niro, everything I think with the criminal nature, the predator prey, like cops and robbers, that whole dynamic, great, loved it. I gotta say, some of the like outside family stuff and some of the like subplotty stuff didn't do it for me. I think it felt like a lot of episodes of like crime TV like put together, and some of it didn't feel like it got fully developed. But every scene with Pacino and De Niro, as Mike was saying, dude, holy shit, this tension is unbelievable. The action sequences, the bang, the car shootout, oh my god, dude, that was ridiculous. That was my favorite scene in the movie. But then stuff on the side, like the daughter, for instance, I don't know, they didn't do it for me. And De Niro's love interest, I don't know. It didn't completely work for me. But besides that, I loved it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, for basically same as you guys are saying, like it's a pretty great movie. That action scene, the shootout was like I gotta say less. Like um and I don't know like if I just set this up based on my previous viewings, but like over the past couple weeks I've watched Goodfellas, The Godfather, etc. Like set up to be a little bit disappointed. Even though you have like these two amazing characters and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro who are like great in this movie. But also kind of going off of what Mason said, at some points it felt like maybe the movie was trying to do too much. And it was kind of hard to tell like what direction it was trying to go in sometimes, but yeah, with the criminal stuff, that was like A1.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I appreciate what you guys had to say about subplots, but I actually am on the opposite spectrum. I actually love every aspect of the subplots. I think the relationship between Edie and De Niro's character Macaulay, I think that was a really this movie. What really sets it apart to other blockbusters to me is the fact that the characters are so well written, and from the get-go, Robert De Niro has this like stone cold code that he lives by with that whole like if the heat's around the corner, and like he has this whole like facade. He's like he has this hard exterior, and you found Edie was that one person to sort of break into it. She was like all those scenes. He's like, I'm not lonely. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely, and he's trying so hard to keep that up. But like when he's in dinner with Val Kilmer and all those guys, he's like, shit, I do be kind of lonely, and he calls her up. And I thought those scenes were very powerful because that really made the ending scene where he like looks at her and then just bolts it. I found that super gripping and powerful, as does the whole daughter slant, because like you realize Pacino is like so into his job and all that, and at the end he's with his wife in the hospital, and you're like, can this man truly live a normal life? And he comes to acceptance. He's like, dude, I love the job too much, but you know what? I'm gonna stay here with you. And she's like, nah, you can go if you want. And the fact that he makes that decision to go, he's like, you know what? I love you guys. I love daughter and all that, but I gotta go and get this guy. Like, it's super powerful to see his drive for the job. Like, he can't live a normal life just because he has that drive. And I thought all the subplots like built the characters really well. And I can understand the viewpoint of subplots not working for people, but for me, all of them just added so much weight to all the action.
Yeah, it's really crazy looking back. Oh wait, Brennan, were you gonna say something?
I just wanted to quickly throw this in. I love the scene where he's driving and he gets to a red light and he stops and he throws the TV out the window or out the door, and then he just pulls off, and the guys are just like laughing at him, like, what the heck just happened? So good.
That was so good. But I was saying like it is really neat seeing the parallels of the two guys, like with how they both have that, their love interest, which is like their struggle. Eventually they're struggling with, and they both like, he helps with the daughter, which in my opinion, when he found her in the tub and like brought her back, and the mom sees her in the hospital, like that was hitting me really hard. I'm not even kidding. Like I remember my eyes, I started getting like a little whoa, like I'm like like that might sound kind of soft, but I was like, holy frick, like I like felt that. But it's neat seeing how like then they both are on the right kind of track, in the sense that he's like, oh, come with me, we'll drive together. Oh, like I'm gonna help you with your daughter. But then it's like at the end they both go with their jobs. Dude, when De Niro leaves her that in the car, dude, I love how they keep cutting back and holding on her face. And like I love how she also like I remember in some of the shots it looked like the camera was kind of like blocked by some stuff in the foreground. I thought she was going to be like gone out of the car.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
For him, and she's still there, and her face like never changes. Like it's not like she ever becomes mad either. Like she's always just like, what's happening? I thought that like worked so well. Like so it's almost like I was waiting. It's almost like it feels it feels even, I don't know, I liked it a lot how they did that, and then they didn't make her like angry or like didn't make her leave and stuff. Like it was really neat how that character worked, like just completely shocked. Yeah.
Question: what movies have, besides this and Irishman, have De Niro and Pacino been in together?
So they were in Godfather Part 2 together, but the reason why it's not as big of a deal as Heat was because in Godfather 2, De Niro plays the flashback younger version of Vito Corleone, so they never shared a scene together. And Heat was the first time they shared a scene, and I think this is a good way to lead into, in my opinion, one of the greatest scenes in cinema history. That coffee shop scene is like as I think anyone that likes watching movies, when you see those two dynamite actors in a scene together for the first time, it's just like the juices are flowing, and it's so freaking brilliant that Michael Mann chose their first confrontation in cinema to be this coffee shop scene where they're completely opposites when it comes to the law, but they still have this mutual respect for each other, and you reveal that they're sort of like the same people, just one is like this
They
criminal
also
and the
look
other
very similar. Let me just throw that out there.
Similar,
A lot of the times I was just like, wait, was that? Because for some reason when I first watched it, I was like, I guess my attention would be like so invested in De Niro, then I'd be like, oh frick, that's not even him. Like, and then when he turns around, I'm like caught off guard. I'm like, oh shoot, that's literally not him. And my brain just has to shift.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Sometimes, like, especially with like there's fast like cutting back and forth between them. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, like the first second they show, I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
who it was. I'd be like trying to like my mind had to like kind of catch up with it. But yeah, it's move. I agree, man. That scene.
I love just like I feel like Safdie brothers got a lot of inspiration from this movie.
this movie was a huge influence on many directors.
Just because, like, you know, the classic like bank robbery stuff, and I did see a lot of similarities between like how they blocked their scenes, like when they rob banks, and just having like the gunmen like on tables with their guns, and I'm like, oh, that's definitely some Safdie stuff right there. But
yeah, so if you want to know, I think the movie that had the biggest that took the most influence from this, rewatch The Dark Knight after watching this film. You will see that The Dark Knight is essentially a comic book version of Heat. The whole interrogation scene, the whole bank robbery in the beginning.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you saying, Brendan?
Didn't a Batman movie come out in '95 with this movie too?
Nah. Dark Knight came out 2008.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about Nolan's Dark Knight. Batman Forever came out in '95.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, we don't talk about that movie though. But yeah, like Nolan, there's a whole Q&A with him on the Blu-ray, but Nolan's like a huge diehard fan of Heat, and you can see it in his films.
On IMDb, this is one of Christopher Nolan's favorite films that inspired Gotham City and Dark Knight trilogy, like the visions of those. But yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Dude, so Brad told me, I don't know how accurate this is, but apparently like he said that they would like show like I think it would like one of the robbery scenes they would show it to like some branch of the military maybe like to show them how to like properly like execute like I forget what it was like some kind of procedure. Like Brad told me that they would show even like they would show a scene from this movie to them and say, oh, here's how you like evacuate a place like safely, because I guess the way that the robbers did it like with the like when they're blocking each other and like with guns, like there's a lot of parts where they like defend each other hardcore, like, you know, and they make sure that they get out there safe. So I just kind of found that kind of crazy. I'm trying to look it up and see if there's any info about that, but that's what Brad told me when he walked by. So I was like, oh, okay.
I was in so much stress waiting for like after they robbed the bank at the end, towards the end, maybe it's the middle, but when they rob the huge bank and they're all trying to get out into the car and they're just like one by one coming out, and there's people everywhere, and the
Yeah.
cops are on their way. I'm like, oh, they need to hurry their asses up because I can't handle this.
Oh, and the pedestrian reactions to like Pacino coming, like, dude, he's just fucking slinging the gun.
Yeah. He's like, get out!
Crazy, dude. And the whole shootout in traffic is, oh my god.
Oh man, the shootout is one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever. Like,
Thinking about what if that happened in real life, like that would be all over Snapchat. That would be all over.
Yeah, seriously.
but it's like just the way everything is set up, because at that moment you know all the characters. And the crazy thing is, usually in a cops and robber type of movie, it's like there's the good cop and then the robbers are the bad guys. But this is like, you know that they're doing wrong things and they're like horribly assaulting civilians and whatnot, but at the same time you care about them like achieving their goal, and you're like, shit, I like these robber characters too. They got their families and whatnot, and you want them to succeed, but you want Pacino to catch the bad guy, and it's this whole thing where you're like, the tension is so high because no matter what the outcome is, you know it's not going to be good for one of them.
Yep.
Fucking masterful.
It was crazy. Like I remember the scene where like Al Pacino's character is kind of like, Robert De Niro's character is kind of like, yo, I don't know if I want to go through with this like bank robbery. And then you hear the other guys saying like, yeah, no, I need the money, man. And he's like, yeah, like I kind of want to do it too. And then they're all like, all right, let's do it. They're like, screw it, let's go. I remember like feeling that with them, where I was like, yeah, go rob the bank, come on, do it.
I remember feeling like the opposite there. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know if I want them to do it. Like, I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's like you're scared that if they're gonna fail if they do it.
I'm like, holy crap! Like they're. I feel that way a lot, and I feel that a lot of movies, like Good Time, and like I'm thinking Zafty too. Just thinking about how they want the viewer to really think about their decisions in the movie, even though they have no choice, or no, I guess, yeah, they have no choice of what options are going to happen. And I really just felt like, oh, wow, they're already in like a safe spot right now, and they shouldn't like just risk everything for
They're addicted to the job, man. It's crazy.
They're dedicated.
I just wanted them to go rob the bank because I wanted to see them head to head again. Like,
and then you remember it's a movie. It's like, maybe they can rob a bank. It's like, try it.
When the chef who had,
I feel so bad. Her legs are like broken.
Wait, what?
Wait,
What?
What? Did you see?
What just happened?
It's so sad.
Right.
No, she just had so slow. Anyway, all right.
All right, what were we saying, Croft?
Sorry.
I was just gonna say the chef who's on like parole or something, and then
Oh yeah, it feels bad for that guy.
and then he's like, you know what, screw it, I'll help you out with the drive. Instantly.
Yeah. Every time you rewatch the movie, like every time I rewatch it, I'm like, whenever he says the decision where he's like, I'll be down, it's like, oh no, why? It's everything. Like that shootout, the whole build up to it, like when the cops are in place and all that, and you're seeing them going one by one, and they're establishing the whole geography of the action scene. Like, you know who's across the street, you know who's on the side, so you know exactly where everyone's shooting from. And the way they filmed the scene, like, perfectly abides by the space. And oh gosh, the sound design, the editing, it is.
Those are like my favorite gunshot sound effects I think I've ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Great
something
sounds.
about them, man. Like, I don't know what, like, they kind of have this, like, metallic ring to it, where I noticed I was, like, it wasn't, like, just, like, it was, like, you could, I don't know. It was just really good. Like, it felt very real.
The sound was so well done. I can't get over how well the sound was. Like, all the dialogue sounded so clean and just...
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, dude, how does this sound so good?
I know.
Right, it came out in 95.
Oh, one spot though. There was
where
the dubbing. I was like,
Oh, really?
oh my gosh.
I didn't even notice it.
When they were...
This conversation with Pacino and his wife, right?
No, it was when they came in. Damn. there's a guy just sitting in a table in the middle of I guess this like factory, and he came in and sat down and was talking to him. It was this black guy, and he sits down at the table and he's
I don't
talking.
remember this scene.
And,
Like I don't remember the dubbing of the scene.
and
Oh,
all of a
are you
sudden it
talking
cuts to
about?
like him over the shoulder, and it's him talking, but it's literally nothing what he's saying. I'm like, what the heck?
Are you talking about the first time Pacino goes to talk with the one dude who has the brother with the information?
Like in the club.
Yes.
Oh.
He's telling him about how he has like connections and the information, and then it cuts to a shot like over Pacino's shoulder, and
Oh, I didn't notice the
Really?
sound
Yeah,
of
I didn't
that.
notice it.
Yeah, me neither.
maybe it was, I don't know.
I'll
Where'd you guys
rewatch it.
watch
Yeah.
it? Where'd you guys watch it?
What?
Which version? Did you guys watch it on Movies Anywhere?
Yeah, who's in here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, the sound in the movie just like blows my mind how good it is.
Yeah, it could have been like maybe Movies Anywhere just lagging, but
Yeah, maybe if like a second it didn't get caught up, but even just for a
Mm.
moment, maybe it was something like that.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but not to get away from the sound, but like the last scene for me, like, dude, I was literally I was just yelling, literally, like I was so it's so scary because the way they shoot it, like they don't give you any like kind of overhead angles that show you like where the space is like relative. Like they could easily like I feel like they could have done something like that where they show you like they could have made that decision, but they don't. They keep the camera on the grounds. They do these crazy pans like looking around, and the way that this is like so kind of symmetrical and similar with those like just those blocks, those square like generator things everywhere. It's like there's no like to distinguish like where one person would be relative to the other. Like that was so crazy. I mean, the whole time I'm just waiting for them to show up in the same frame because they keep it so like with the cutting, it's so good. Like how they keep it so. I mean, you know, like they keep it so them far away, and I love. Remember, there's this one little like 5-second part where like De Niro's like scanning around, and like the way they edited it was like it felt so good. Like where he's like, it's like as his eyes are like looking around, they kept like I know it's like a pretty common thing. They kept cutting to like what his view was, but I remember just feeling like it just seemed it fit really well and like kind of amped the tension up so much of like they neither of them know where the other guy is. So that was really cool.
And in some of the ones where they had like someone up against the wall of like one of the things, there was enough space in the frame on the other side that someone could like, you know, come in from behind them. And it's like the compositional tension was just like,
masterful. And also, I'm not gonna lie, that final shot where he grabs his hand, that is powerful, man. That is so powerful. I'm watching that. I'm like, damn, that's what an ending. Oh my gosh.
A wide shot, like with
Oh
my gosh.
Flash.
I thought he was gonna help him up, and then like as if he's gonna try to like help him walk. But then when the hand just holds, I'm like, wait, he's literally just dying with him. Like I mean, you know, like he's just dying, like holding his hand. Like I was like, that's.
Oh man, it just goes to like hammer in that theme of their mutual respect for each other, but at the end of the day, one of them has to lose, and it's what a moment.
And they're like kind of playing cat and mouse in the outside of the airport.
Yeah.
Had the same tension and pacing that kind of reminded me of No Country for Old Men.
The same thing. I was gonna yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I remember thinking that exact thing. Yeah, crazy. Like with the idea, the cat and mouse thing, and like it's how they're both kind of like even in like No Country for Old Men, they're not necessarily like neither one is like kind of worse than the. I mean, like freaking.
Anton.
That's pretty terrible, but like horrific. But they're both in the wrong, like kind of in the wrong in a sense, like possessing like something doesn't belong to them, and then like that kind of thing. Same with like this, where like they're the similar situations, with they're both trying to get finish their jobs, kind of thing.
I love that.
And speaking of the like editing of the movie, dude, as Brendan said earlier, the pacing, like I don't know, maybe like I cannot wrap my head around the idea that this movie's 3 hours long.
Yeah,
it flies for me. It's
when the pacing calls for things to happen quickly, it happens quickly. But when the tone shifts and it calls for that pacing to slow down a little bit, it does that, and it does it so seamlessly.
It's very seamless. And like it follows that whole like idea of like enter the scene late and leave the scene early, because like in a movie where it's all about like driven by characters and plot, like it doesn't rely as much on like the atmospheric like establishing shots and all that.
Yeah.
It just cuts to you in the next place. Like they're already like planned out what they're doing. Like they just cut out any bullshit in between, and they're just laser focused because they have so much to cover. As you said, there's a lot going on in the plot, so
Yeah.
they just have to cover that ground, and it's all interesting to me.
I remember like when they first had that confrontation between De Niro and Al Pacino. Like I remember thinking, like, bruh, how is this only like not even halfway into the movie? Like, isn't this? I thought that was gonna be like the climax was when they finally get to like be each other, see each other. But it's like it's so much more than that. How it like goes and moves on with like they're establishing their relationship and that kind of the parallel, their like their jobs. So I just thought that was crazy. I remember being like, what the heck? Like, well, how are they already face to face? Like, isn't one of them just gonna shoot the other guy? And then like, nah, there's so much more. So, but yeah, really good. Yeah, move like you're saying, enter the scene late, leave it early. Like that kind of thing's really like present there. And like, it's crazy to think even though they do that, it's still 3 hours. Like there's so much.
Yeah, right.
It's not like the 3 hours is because we have crazy long scenes that are just like holding on like wide shot, like 2 minutes showing like birds fly over just cause. It's like, it's very tight.
Yeah. Like opening scene itself, they literally drop you in between the planning of the first like armored truck heist.
Yeah.
We actually haven't talked about that yet, but that scene is fantastic.
The moment when you realize they're gonna just shoot all of them is like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, they gotta make that split-second decision after he shoots the first guy.
Yeah, freaking Waingro, man.
Crazy guy.
I just like how in every single robbery that they have, the viewer knows that these guys know what they're doing. When they go in and blow up the back of the truck, they swarm in there. They throw all the guys out. Every single person has a job. They're all assigned. They like know how many guys are going to be in that car. They know exactly what they're looking for in the truck. They know where to look for it at. They grab all the slips, and then they all flee from the scene like in like such, I guess the blocking of it, not necessarily from like the movie standpoint, but from like the planning standpoint of robbing the truck was so well done. And I think that's really awesome.
And that opening scene, I think one of the most effective things it does is it sets up that like revenge plot that comes in full swing, and at the end, it's such a satisfying setup payoff. Like you get the whole idea that they're stealing from Van Zandt. You get Waingro messes up and De Niro's pissed at him, and like the way that blends together at the end feels so natural. Like it didn't feel like, oh, let's just bring this from the beginning. Like it's there, that tension's rising, and that opening truck scene though, like when it hits the truck and it falls over, that sound is booming to say the least.
Yeah.
I remember like realizing, I didn't realize at first what the truck purpose was. I was like, I was like, I know it's heading for something, but I was like, what the heck? I couldn't really tell for some reason. And then all of a sudden you realize like it's heading for the money truck. And I was like, you gotta brace yourself for like that impact kind of. So, and dude, it's crazy. Even the scene when it's crazy, like they're in the coffee shop or whatever, or the cafe thing. And he's like, I need to just kill you right now. And he like brings him outside, and he's like, and they help him. They watch for when the cops go by.
Dude, the blocking in that scene.
Crazy.
Actually, I had a really weird, like, I guess, coincidence happen yesterday. I went fishing with my dad, and I saw a money truck, and there was like 3 of them outside of the wow. I said, yo, bro, look at all those money trucks over there. And he's like, yo, have you ever seen the movie Heat? And I'm just like, I literally have to watch that tonight for the podcast. It's just so funny. And that was my only hint to the movie. I said, like, stop talking because I can't know anything about it right now. And so it was
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's pretty neat. And then we drove the truck into the money. No.
Oh, of course. I mean, what else do you do?
Obviously.
What if he's like, Brendan, you ever seen that movie Heat? No. You're like, Dad, no.
I would have never gotten the joke. That's funny.
Oh man. Oh, what a movie. Oh gosh. I can't with this. I mean, the revenge, as I was saying, that's so satisfying. Like they also add that whole thing with Waingro like killing that girl and all that, and you're like, even though Macaulay's like technically not a good dude, as he's like a psychopath and how many people he robs and kills, but you're so satisfied when he kills Waingro because Waingro's that much worse than him.
Yeah.
And,
It's kind of funny how even though Neil is like he's a bad guy technically, like you're rooting for him, and when he takes care of Wanger, you're like, oh yeah.
it's like, oh, and speaking of like the whole Wade Grove Van Zandt stuff, that line when De Niro's on the phone and he's like, I'm speaking to an empty telephone right now. So man on the end of this line's dead. I'm like, oh shit.
That's so good.
Oh man.
Even
The dialogue's great.
Isn't like even when he's shooting him, doesn't he say like, look at me?
Yeah.
Look. He like makes sure he's like looking at him in the eyes. And I remember like
He just
I thought he
lifts
was
his head up
gonna say like something like tell me about this, but he was like he like waits like 6 seconds just to kill him right there. It's like
yeah, that's like one of the few moments in the film where you see his character like lose control. Over the course of the film, he's very calm and he like knows exactly what he's doing and he's calculated. But when he's getting that revenge, he just loses all sense of like logic and he's just like, I'm killing this dude. I'm turning here. I'm not catching the plane. I'm ending this dude.
Oh, that
Powerful.
Great.
How would you rate this, Moo?
How would I rate? Let's hear what you guys have to say first.
Am I first?
Go for it.
Dang. I really enjoyed this, and I really like all like styles of like the mafia sort of driven movies, and like I love De Niro's character in every film he plays. So I think I'd have to go with a solid 8.75.
Wow, getting down to the point.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if this is like legal, but I really just want to say 10 out of 10 because I have absolutely nothing.
Oh shoot!
And I kind of want to just like after this is over, I kind of just want to watch it again. So like I really there's anything, nothing. I wouldn't change a single thing about this.
Wow.
Awesome.
Art.
Awesome.
I really think like I'm not even lying. Like I literally don't see anything wrong with it. Like there's
beautiful.
So much that I love. So freaking perfect, man. I know like no one's perfect, but like this movie is 10 out of 10 for me.
Beautiful. Cross Mason.
Again, I see the perspective. I just personally subplots didn't do it, but with all of the greats, I gotta go with like an 8.52 out of 10.
Oh, bet.
Yeah, that's where I leave it. Just one more time. That the action scenes, man, like my heart was about to explode. That's all I gotta say. It was too much.
Oh yeah,
so good.
For me, I had a really fun time with this movie. This is the kind of movie that you watch with the boys. Like, it's just a hype movie. Action scenes, la creme de la creme. But I had like a couple minor issues with the movie. Nothing major, but at the end of the day, probably come in with the 7.666 repeating.
Ooh. Bet. All right. I think that the direction is perfect. I think the story is perfect. I think the characters are perfect. I think these are some of the greatest action scenes ever put to cinema. I think these are some of the greatest conversations in cinema. I think that the sound design is unbelievable. I think I could watch this movie on repeat for days on end. And this is the type of movie that's so freaking good and so epic and so overwhelming that I actually like saving my watches like every year or every 2 years just to savor that flavor. And for that reason, I'm with you, McGarrahan. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Dude, I can't help it, man. It's just
I can't help it.
It really does.
This was one of those movies I was scared because, as I say, like I give it a few years between rewatches, and I hadn't seen it since like 10th grade. So I always get scared when it's been that long because I'm like, shit, what if it's not as good as I remember it? And there's been many times where that's been the case, but I sat down and it was so relieving to watch how every moment was as good, if not better than what I thought it was. Yeah, this is an easy 10 for me.
Also, Moo, I know you mentioned my memory's like so faded for some reason, but I know you mentioned like the last episode. Have I watched this at your house before? Like
Yeah, we were chilling at my house and we were watching it, and I think so we watched, we were like 40 minutes through or something.
Yeah, it wasn't that much.
And the projector bulb like went sicko mode and stopped. This is when we had the older projector, and we're like, damn.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I just have like vague memory. Like I guess it was long enough ago for me to like not recall. But oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, I mean was that the first time your projector like did anything like that, or hadn't it been doing that kind of stuff?
It's been like flickering and whatnot, but that time it just went full blast, gone for like a day, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Time to upgrade.
How long ago did you get your new projector, man?
Like 2-3 years or something. Wait, when did 3 years ago when Baby Driver came out? I remember that was the first 4K I got. So it was that November 2017.
Wow.
But yeah, it was fun talking about this movie. We got 2 very special guests on for our next episode. Stay tuned for that. And our recommendation for next week, I'm pretty sure Mason's the only one that's seen this film. It's on Netflix streaming. It's called Burning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm very excited to rewatch it. I haven't seen it. It came on Netflix.
Yeah,
so.
I'm noticing a theme here. Heat, burning.
Climax.
What's the third one gonna be? Rango.
Wait, you could do like Heat, Burning, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. No.
Burning Cane, bro. Burning Cane. We can talk.
Oh shit! Yeah, the high schooler movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Burning on Netflix. Yeah, we got 2 guests on next week that have lots to say about this movie. So it's gonna be a big one.
Oh yeah.
As usual, thanks for watching. I hope that you didn't listen to this without watching Heat, because that'd be a colossal failure on your part. And yeah, what can I say? Damn!